Welcome back. Well, Dan Basse and Tommy Grisafi joining us this weekend to talk markets. Dan, the White House, we talked about it in news, announcing a comprehensive trade deal with the UK this week, mentioning agriculture, specifically beef and ethanol. But it wasn't enough to positively impact the markets this week. Why, Dan?
Well, Tyne, we don't have specifics. We don't have like the pounds of beef or the gallons of ethanol or whatever is going to ship over there. So we're going to look at it in terms of a broad brush. We're going to say, okay, this is one done. I like the structure of it, that we are a category within the trade negotiations that has a future. I think when we get to India and some of the other countries, it'll get more exciting. But, the UK is just not a big market for us. But any additionality in both of those products, and also cereals was mentioned. But again, the UK is a cereals exporter, so I don't think we're going to have a big appetite there, but nonetheless it's still an open market that we didn't have before, and we'll see what comes.
Tommy, the corn market unfazed by the news, but the corn market really having an ugly week this week. Is it all weather related?
There's a problem in the corn market, and it showed up in the spreads. Look at a chart of July D's. There's some people are angry. Some of the numbers look tight. I get a chance to sit next to Dan when he's down in Nashville. I get a chance to visit with his son all the time. He actually is our senior analyst at Nesvick. And on a down, when we have big down days like this, people want to know why. Hey, the carryout's only this. And I thought world stocks are tight. And I thought this. One reason could be, and I think Dan would add to this because he's actually the one who told me about it, the South American crop may be a lot bigger than we think. So where the USDA is on South America corn and where it actually may be could be bigger. And then, we'll see from there. But the market feels oversold. It feels cheap, but that's what markets do. Gold's felt expensive and it keeps going up. Corn feels cheap. Cattle feel expensive. They keep going up. Corn's the short leg right now in the trade where people want to buy wheat, sell corn, buy beans, sell corn. Take a look at the corn bean ratio. For all the people saying that was out of whack, boom, here we are. Second week of May, and it's right back to where it normally is.
Well, Dan, USDA's next report is next week. Farmers, Tommy mentioned it, farmers are angry right now because when you look at the carryout number, it's tight. It took a while for USDA to revise that lower. Do you think USDA needs to, revise its carryout number even more? And do you think that USDA needs to adjust demand?
Yeah, we do think so, Tyne. On whole crop, we believe USDA is at least 100 million bushels too low on its export estimates. We're at 2650. And in fact, after the sales number today, I could move up to 2.7. So undoubtedly, we're heading towards 1.4 or under on end stocks. So we're getting to the bottom. But the cash market doesn't feel like we have those kind of stocks. I believe as we go along in time, maybe we'll get there. But, as you get past the July contract, you kind of run out of calendar. And so that's one of the issues for the market here today. Longer term, and where I think this real break has come from is when I add up Ukraine, or let's say the Black Sea, South America, and United States in a new crop position, we're going to have about 42 to 46 million metric tons more of corn to work through. And that's where the bearishness came in. And I think that's what the markets looked at this week.
Tommy, even with China and the trade war and us figuring out what's going on, soybean prices have really been in a sideways trading pattern for the past month when you look at it. Why?
Because there's no hog in the world or cattle in the world that knows we're having a trade war. So the people who actually consume soybean meal, or corn, they don't know who's president. They don't know there's trade war. So if you add up all the animals in the world and you add up all the people in the world, we're all eating just fine. And in the end, it was a very emotional thing. I'll tell you what, Tyne, upon recording this, the Dow Jones is now 6,000 points above its low that it made just 4 weeks ago. Things have changed. You need to change with them. Remember, we trade a futures market, and the futures are looking that these trade wars and tariffs are going to move forward.
Yeah, so what is it going to take to move corn and soybean and even wheat prices higher? We're going to talk to Dan about that when we come back.